Yo, what up guys? So in today's video what I want to do is make a tutorial for beginners of Linux because I guess more advanced people, people that use Linux usually either for like work purposes or daily, they probably know this already. So I'll show you different commands. I know I already recorded a video, but that video is not, it was sort of rushed because I didn't have enough time. So I said, okay, I'll just make a quick video and that time I have. And I would like to make a new video more structured and more detailed and show you new stuff. So, I am actually running Ubuntu right now. I would suggest using a virtual machine for this to learn stuff. And what you can do if you don't want to watch this video, what you can do is go into just write the commands I have used and sort of try them yourself. That also helps. That's how sort of I have learned before I was taught Linux and using Linux commands. So, let me just launch some terminal and let's go. So basically Linux distribution, it matters what Linux you have because as you know, Linux is open source. You might have a different one. Ubuntu and Kali is not the same thing as, for example, Mint and the Kali and Ubuntu are two different Linux distributions, and it's a big difference between them. So the first thing you want to do is launch terminal and make it full zoomed. I'm making it full zoomed so you guys can see stuff. So the first thing command I want to show you is pwd, print working directory. Nothing too crazy. It just shows you the directory you're in. On the video on the screen right now, what you should have is a sort of diagram of how Linux works and the directories of Linux system. In the later video, like I'm possibly doing permissions, I will explain the whole Linux system. Not right now, that's not the purpose of this video. The purpose of the video is to show beginners the commands they need to work in Linux. So pwd, we're going to use cd. Cd is basically change directory, and this is one of the most important commands you use and one of the most used commands. So cd, in this case I'm going to show you. So we're going to go to sample / and we're in a different directory. Where are we? If you do ls, which stands for listing, we're in basically our root directory. This is the system, like it's like programs 86 in Windows, if I can remember the correct. It's basically Windows. For example, this is the Windows directory, right? This is the main files, the main directories of the system. Obviously in Linux, right? I'm just giving you a comparison. So what we can do actually is we can ls bin without going into the directory. Directly. So as you can see, I just listed the whole directory, right? To clear the screen, we can use clear. Now what I want to do is go cd / ls, and what we can do is, for example, we can cd home and John Doe and desktop, right? And that took us to desktop. As you can see, I just run through 3 directories without going cd home, cd John Doe, and cd desktop. Now I know it doesn't work, I'm just giving an example, right? I just want to run one command which took us. Now what we can do, if you want to go back where you've been, right? So you would do is cd / //, and it took us to root back again, right? You can change, we can look with pwd, I like to look with ls where I am in the system, right? Use clear to clear the screen. Now I know I'm going a bit fast, but the reason I'm going fast is because I want to make this video as short as I can, because I don't want to upload a half-an-hour video. So if you have any problems, make sure to join my Discord. I know I'm not a bit active on the Discord because I'm working. Sorry guys, I'm a bit busy. It's been I have sort of assignments going on and stuff, and I'm a bit doing my job as to my other stuff as well. So sorry about that. But I'll try to respond at least 2-3 times a week at least. Right, I'll show you another command, which is ll or la. Now these are 2 different commands. La shows you basically all the files, including the hidden directories or the hidden files. However, ll shows you a basically more detailed structure. So I'll quickly tell you what this is. I'm gonna have to make a different video and explaining how to change this stuff. So this is drwxr -xrx. Now that doesn't mean anything to you. Now it does make to me though, because what happens, this is D, it stands for directory, RWX, which means for read, read, write, execute, read hyphen execute, read hyphen execute. Now, what the fuck am I talking about? As I said in the later video, and next video I'm going to make, I'll explain the permissions, because these are actual permissions, right? And this will be possibly taught regardless if you do IT, networking, anything, you'll be probably taught regardless. So this is, as you can see, this is the owner root, which is me. Those are the bytes, the file size. This is the, I know it's a different language, I don't know, I think it's Japanese, I'm not sure. It most likely is. July or something. 20th of, I guess, June, that's the time, and that's the directory. Now, as you can see, this is a sort of a directory. I don't know what that is exactly. So yeah. So now that's sort of, you don't really need to know anymore. You can like ls, la, and that shows you the same thing. Yeah, it shows you exactly the same thing, so you don't need to do any more than that. So let's clear the screen. And that's sort of it for ls, right, commands. As I said, you can join commands, right? You should go in Ubuntu and experiment, because you can, as I said, you can join commands. The next command I want to show you, but I need to go for this, is cd and tilde, and we go desktop. And as you can see, I did a magic. It took us to our home desktop, ls, and as you can see, we're in desktop. So let's use clear again. Basically, as I said on the screen right now, I'm going to mention two things. Root / and tilde. / is root directory, and tilde is our home directory. But remember to go to desktop or ls and to make sure where you are pwd, right? So the next command I want to show you is mkdir. Could be md, but mkdir works for Ubuntu. For Kali works, I think, both. So mkdir, we're going to do testing, and we're going to do a magic trick. We're going to do squiggly bracket 1, 2 dots, 10, and we're going to close it. And we just created 10 directories. We just created 10 directories which can be accessible. You can modify them, you can do whatever you want. Just before I do anything else, I'm going to show you another command. mv stands for for move. Move can be used for two things: for moving files, directories, and changing the names of the files or directories. Now, in the next video, actually, I'm going to show you wildcards, because those are not wildcards, I'm pretty sure. Wildcards is basically, I might show you one wildcard, but for the next video, I'm going to show you a wildcard. What are wildcards? Wildcards are something to, basically, it's used to change or copy specific files. For example, you can, if you have the name, I have a folder with exams in it, right? And for example, some are PNG, some are text files, right? So what you can do is either copy a specific, like example, student name, or what you can do is copy specific student like text file type, right? For example, I don't want to copy images, I want to copy text files, so you would do is cp.txt, right? But for this case, what I'm going to do is change the name of a directory. So we're going to use this testing. For example, I want to move testing 10 to testing extra, and that's the command you would run. So now if you do ls, as you can see, this testing extra, we just changed the name of it, right? That's how easy it is. It's not hard. People think it's hard. It's not. It's really easy. The hard bit gets when you sort of get to scripting and you have to I don't like bash. I really dislike bash, because for me it seems like a useless scripting language, right? I would rather write any program in Python, because Python is actually a good program, and it works basically in anything, right? So what we can do, for example, is remove directory. So we can do is rm-r. Now please be careful. Do not run a sudo account and remove stuff. Sudo account is a super user do. Super user do is a root account, which means you have access to everything, and most likely if you put your password in the first time using sudo su, it won't allow you, it won't ask you for a confirmation, which means if you delete something, it's fucking gone, right? You possibly can recover it, but I would rather you not to do, don't do such things without making sure you're using obviously your normal standard account. it has administrator rights, but you shouldn't use sudo accounts. Sudo accounts should be for specific purposes only, unless you're doing like installing stuff, which I'll ask you for, you know, sudo passwords or for sudo accounts, which I suggest, you know, then only switching to it. So rm-r will remove directories. If you do -rm, but rm on its own, it would delete files. I'm going to show you in a second. I'm going to show you how to create files as well, how to edit them, how to put stuff in it, and how to display it. So what it's going to do is rm, we're going to do -r, we're going to remove testing 2, testing 4, testing 5. Now, as you can see, I'm listing directories, and if you go to ls, as you can see, the directories are gone. You can do the same thing with mkdir. You can do mkdir testing 1, testing 2. But the reason, already exists. So you can do the same thing with testing extra, example 2 to 10, right? Sorry, put the dots. Now you can do the same thing, right? It's gonna ls, as you can see, I've made a mess now. That's okay, because I can show you how to remove it with one command. I'm not going to show you for this video. I'm going to leave it for my next video, how to remove this. It's very, very easy to remove. So, as sort of for, you know, for creating, removing files, I'm going to show you a new command, which is touch. We're going to do go to cd testing extra, and we're going to clear the screen, and we're going to do is touch. We're going to touch test123.txt. ls, as you can see, it's created. What we're going to do is ls nano test123.txt. Now, if you were to run this without touch, it would still work, because nano creates the files by default if you don't, if it doesn't exist, or it appends, which means changes files, right? If you append changes. So what we can do is we can put some changes. For example, hello, my name is Griffin. I am a cybersecurity specialist. Not exactly working. There we go. I bugged a bit. So if you press Ctrl O, press Enter unless you want to change the file name. Press O, press Ctrl O, press Ctrl X, and if you do ls, and if you do cat test123.txt, oh sorry, because I wrote text. I was supposed to be test. There we go. So as you can see, it displays specific files, specific the contents of a file. So if you do example man, man stands for manual, right? But I'm going to show you sort of cool thing. I'll show you at the end actually. What we're going to do is cp, which I haven't showed you before. Cp is to copy files. This is not a really you can make a mess with this command. You can't really do anything harmful with this command. So we're going to do test123.txt, and we're going to copy it by, we're going to copy it actually to the directory before. So we're going to do 2 dots, and we're going to ls this directory, and we're going to do a new directory, which is going to ls. And as you can see, I listed 2 directories at the one command line. How did I do that? Well, I done a wee command, is just did a wee trick with this. This separates 2 commands. It sort of starts a new command line, and you can run 2 commands at once. I'll show you more like this in the wildcards video. For more advanced, this is for beginners. Let's not get ahead of us, let's just use normal commands. Please don't be like scared to run commands or like explore yourself. Just make sure you don't break your system, because you're gonna have to reinstall, and make sure you're not doing this on your actual Linux. If you're using Linux as your daily, please don't do it as your daily. Run a virtual machine. I showed you how to run a virtual machine in my first 5 videos. They're not great because I had a very, very bad microphone. I was recording with NVIDIA GeForce, and yeah. But I will, obviously, if there's a big problem, I never mentioned something, I'll record something for you. I can record videos for you if you really need some help. Just make sure to hit me on Discord, because I might not be able to reply quickly on YouTube, because I don't get any notifications on my phone that someone has replied on my YouTube channel. I get an email, but I don't check my emails, because there's about 2,100 emails, because it's spam. Alright, so ls, and let's clear, right? Because we have copied a file. Now, what happens if I was to copy a file? For example, let's do touch test 1 to 100, right? This will make a mess, but don't worry, because I'm here. We can do rm test, so we do test and this, and magically, if you write ls, what happens is, as you can see, it deleted all the files with name test. Now the star is a wildcard. Please be careful with wildcards. Wildcards are very sensitive and powerful. Don't use them without correct knowledge. I would suggest you do some research on wildcards, because you can actually, if you do example, if I was to go root and ls and rm-r this, it would fuck up my whole system, because it would remove every directory and every file inside that directory, and that's my, as I said, that's my home directory, my files of Linux. Okay, so that's sort of it, I think, for this video, right? That's sort of the basics commands. Now I suggest actually there's one command I'll show you, one more. Man, like for example, man cp, and as you can see, this has basically, it shows you what the command does. Man is a very good command, for example, because you might forget what a command does, and you can read this to make sure to basically show you what it does. Now to quit, either you can press Q, or you can scroll down with enter all the way down, or you press Q to end exit. Now what you can actually do is, if you do cd tilde desktop, what we can do is use man. Example, let's use cp recursive. Sorry, that's recursive. It's right arrow basically. It's called something if it's recursive. I can't remember. Yeah, so I think it's, so basically right arrow, and let's name it cp readme.txt. And now what this done is it done something cool, because what happens is, if you do cat cp readme.txt, it basically copied the whole thing into a file. And we can basically, example, instead of going man cp, what we can do is cat cp readme.txt, right? And we can read the whole file without us remember the commands. And we can edit the files, but I'll show you the video in the, I'll show you the command in the future, because the video is already 18 minutes and I don't want to make it too long, because I'm going to show you this in wildcards, possibly the text editor. Right, so hope you enjoyed the content. Make sure to check out my wildcards video, which will be possibly as soon as I can, most likely next week. Yep, if you have any questions, comments, if you want to ask me anything, make sure to hit me in the Discord or in the comments.